Carson, welcome to the BVI.
Yes, it's good to be back.
Yes, it's good to see you here. Normally, I see you in Hong Kong,
That's right. That's right.
on the other
That's
side
right.
of the
That's
on the other
right.
side of the world. I want to again thank you for joining us.
Thanks for asking.
Yes, and certainly congratulations. I know other as you try to move the bank project forward. I know you said it's pretty close to happen. I think collectively the BVI. I can say very definitively we're very appreciative of your willingness to take this up and to move it along
No, it's very
and
much
hopefully it
my
goes.
pleasure. Very
Yeah.
much my pleasure.
Yeah.
I do think there is a real need for
Yeah.
a bank to provide services
Yeah,
to the to the offshore companies that
Yeah.
you have 430,000 companies
Yeah.
out there, and many of those would not have the chance to get bank accounts open
Yeah.
before the global banks
Yeah.
stop opening accounts
yeah,
for offshore companies. So we are pleased that
Yeah.
we can be of some use.
yeah. I think the other part of it that your timing wise in terms of coming into the BVI is going to help us with is as we try to move from this level to the next level.
Right.
Not only the bank and the services that would offer, but the technology that is going to bring to making that possible, and the whole demand and interest on the government's part to, as the Premier said as well as address on Monday, to reposition the BVI, because I'm sure there are other services that beyond the traditional banking services that you're looking at, and needless to say, Asia is a huge market.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Which is why today at the panel I mentioned fintech.
Yeah.
No, it's an area, and I hope the Bank of Asia will be one of the vehicles through which fintech is brought into the
Yeah.
BVI. It's really very much a fintech entity, but there are so many aspects of fintech that what it requires is human capital, is ingenuity. You don't require a lot of capital, you don't require a lot of technology, you can always bring them into it. It's how business models are created and how innovative the people here, and of course the BVI is a very innovative place. Otherwise you wouldn't be the leading offshore jurisdiction in the world.
Yeah, and I was pleased today to, I don't remember who did, but someone, I don't know if it was you or someone, reminded us of how we got into this sector in the first place in 1984 when the law was passed, was precisely doing that, being innovative and needing to come up with an alternative to or double taxation treaty that in those days that we had with the U.S. So the DNA is there. How can reawaken it and begin to move things to the next level? So that I think that's certainly very critical. I think your comments too about China and Asia and its importance is always is to me very important, because a lot of the work that the BVA does, particularly in the financial services space, happens in that part of the world.
That's
and
correct.
we have a good brand there, and if we need to constantly be aware of the changes and what's going on, so that we can, to use a sail analogy, tackle sails to catch a little bit more of the wind.
That's right. Coming from Hong Kong, from China, one thing I do note is that the Panama Papers have not affected the demand for offshore companies, and in particular BVI companies. The BVI has a good brand name out in China.
Yeah.
And as you could see from the Premier's roadshow to China, and how much welcome his roadshow was by the industry in China, that the Panama Papers, I do not think have a lot of impact so far as that market is concerned.
Yeah. No, I think you're right in terms of not only the impact, but certainly the importance of what the Premier did in going at his level.
That's right.
Spend that much level of time in China is very important, because at the end of the day, he gets into rooms that you and I can't get into, just being the Premier and the Minister of Finance. So certainly for him to dedicate and put that much time into it certainly is very good, and we certainly expect that he will continue to do it. Beyond that too, there's certainly there's a lot of changes going on in the world, and the whole idea of the conference is for us to try to constantly try to keep up, be aware of what's going on, so that we can make policy decisions, whether they at the governmental level or at our own individual
Right.
businesses level, so that we can keep current.
Yes.
Or else it can all be very, 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 very challenging.
Right, because changes are happening so
Yeah,
quickly.
whether
around
we
the
like it or
world.
not,
Yes.
it's
We have to
happening.
cope
So
with it. Yeah.
we're certainly very glad that you, as a good friend of the BVI, and continue to help us in terms of navigating what is for us a hugely important part of the market. I certainly hope the rest of your trip goes well.
Thank you. Yes.
And that I know you have another long flight to go from here elsewhere.
Well, I hope the new airport would be
Yeah.
up and running before too long.
Yeah, no, that's an important decision. It's really the airport is a bridge to the future. If
Yes,
we don't get that done, there isn't going to be much of the future. So we need to get it done. But I'm sure there's a lot of work yet to go on. But again, I want to thank you, and we look forward to the Bank of Asia running that flag up the pole.
We are on track.
Yeah.
Thanks, Russell,
Yeah, thanks.
for asking.
Okay.
Thank you.